Welcome to the Life Engineering Podcast. My name is Gabriela Embon, former chemical engineer, relationship coach, and author. In each episode, we'll uncover the wisdom, strategies, and tools to help you build thriving relationships and purpose-driven careers. My wish is that something shared in this space touches your heart, brings clarity, or gently guides you toward what you need most in your life right now. Thank you for being here. Let's begin now. Welcome back to the Life Engineering Podcast, the space where we explore how to design a life of no regrets. I'm your host, Gabriela Embon, relationship and career coach. In our last episode, part one of my conversation with wealth advisor Steve Sebag, we unpacked why money is such an emotional topic in relationships, how couples can build healthier financial foundations, and why most money fights are really about communication and trust. If you missed it, I highly recommend going back to listen. It sets the stage beautifully for where we're going today. Because money conversations don't just shape our marriages, they also shape the next generation. And that's exactly what part two is all about. How do we teach our children about money in a way that actually prepares them for life? And for that, I welcome Steve Sebag again, a senior wealth advisor and senior portfolio manager with over 25 years of experience in wealth management and legacy planning. As the founding partner of SKS Investment Partners, he has worked closely with high net worth families to build not just financial portfolios, but financial wisdom to pass on. He's also proudly raising their four daughters, Mika, Ella, Emily, and Alexi. Steve and his partner, Stephanie, they cherish their life in the vibrant Montreal community where they actively contribute to making a positive impact. Today, he's sharing insights on how we can give our kids the skills, the habits, and mindset to not just manage money, but to feel empowered by it. Ooh, Steve, welcome back. I can't wait for
Thank
this
you, Steph, for having me
conversation.
again. Loved it the first time and excited to be here again.
Yes, me too. I wait that sentence, but to feel empowered by money. Okay, we're gonna go back to that. So tell me, let's start from the beginning because I'm
Sure.
too excited about this one. Why is teaching kids about money so important, especially when many adults still feel uncomfortable with the topic?
Well, first off, if you, as their parents, do not teach it to them, they're going to learn it on TikTok or wherever else they're going to get their information. So, if you want to control the process a bit, might as well do it. And I think it is, as parents, giving them some tools for a healthy financial lifestyle is a big gift that you can give your kids, probably way more than other things that we spend a lot of time doing for our kids.
That's so true. By the way, just a side joke. My husband calls TikTok when he says the kids, where did you learn that? I saw that on TikTok University.
Yeah, that's true. It's crazy.
Yeah,
There's the good and the bad. There's some good to it. Like, I mean, they know general culture, like I didn't know general culture, but they spent hours and hours on stupidity. So
I know. You have four, I have three, so we know.
we
So
do,
at
we do.
what age? At what age should
I
parents start talking to their kids about money?
I would
And what's
say
the first
that
lesson to introduce,
say
right?
that again.
So at what age should we start and
Yeah.
what do you teach them first?
Yeah, so I would say that as soon as they know how to count, you can start to have
Mm,
conversations around money. And what do you teach them? I would say that there are three buckets. There is save, spend, and give. And there are those three things, and it could be three jars, it can be whatever system you want. But teach your kids that for every dollar that they have, some of it they should keep for a bigger purchase or for a rainy day. Some of it is for them to go out and spend, and some of it doesn't belong to them. It belongs to somebody who's less fortunate.
oh, that's priceless. But what role does modeling play? How much do kids actually learn from watching how parents spend, save, and talk about money?
We always underestimate how much our kids learn just by looking at us. And I think just a visit at the grocery, or, Costco, you can easily get carried away in a Costco. So just taking your kids to Costco, and yeah, this is a need. We are buying this for sure, and it's worth spending good money on it. This is super fluff. Just these interactions. They see their parents. They see how their parents are interacting on a purchase. This is going to forge their character for sure.
Yeah, and they also see their parents being how they tip a waiter, being generous, right? Or not.
Absolutely. Money is really an extension of how you treat money. Your relationship with money is really an extension of who you are as a person. Whether it would be with addictive behavior when it comes to money, whether it be extremely frugal when it comes to with money, generosity, all of this is an extension of your personality. It's very, very interesting actually. And the kids pick up on that
Yeah.
like very quickly.
Do you have an example from your own household? A story
Uh,
about money and
with my own kids. So certainly that
yes.
the concept of the three jars I take from my own house, and you're surprised about the shift in behavior, right? Like you start, and if you give them $5 and you tell them that there's only two or three of it that they can spend, it really seems to them that you gave them $2 or $3. So, but to see that it becomes very, very natural that that any money that they get for birthdays or any other nice occasions, that they know that there's a portion that is going to make its way, not necessarily at Starbucks or at the store that they like to buy their clothes at, but rather at charity or that they're going to keep in their bank account is wonderful to see. Whether they like it or not, after a while it becomes natural, which is beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And you don't need to necessarily be affluent or a philanthropist. I know you are, but it's
Nope.
even how, like I said, in the how you tip people or if you give to a homeless person. Yeah, absolutely.
My philosophy
Uh,
on saving on donating to charity. Yes, everybody needs a certain minimum to live, and you need basic substance for sure. Above and beyond that, I do believe that it's no longer a luxury. You need to save because you're not going to work until you're 104. Although I wish everybody the health to be able to do so. And there's a portion of what you have that doesn't belong to you. It belongs to people who need it more. So I really believe that above a certain minimum threshold, there is money that doesn't belong to you, and I want my kids to know that.
do you recommend giving allowances?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I give allowances, and I think allowances is the best way for them to build a relationship with money, understanding that it's the beginning of the week. There are 7 days in the week. You can decide now to go spend it all, and then I don't know what you're going to do for the remaining 6 days. But budgeting, being reasonable, I think it teaches. I think you actually make a return on investment by giving the allowance. Yes, you have a little less money yourself, but certainly it comes back to you because you have kids that are a little bit better with handling money, and that's important.
Do you think it should be tied to chores or kept separate?
I don't tie it to chores. I feel that chores, if well integrated, are healthy as part of their living in a house. When there are chores that are above and beyond, clean your room, and these are things that are separate and babysitting gig or really doing something out of the box, I like to give them money to say that, hey, hard work can get rewarded. I don't like the idea of them feeling that they can be exploited either. So if they are going to do things that are above and beyond what is a normal kid supposed to do in the house, I will give them something that is above and beyond their alimony.
I hope
Think
my
of a
children
budget.
don't watch.
Think of a bonus, right? You work, people are salaried, and when they do things extremely well, they are paid a bonus or they have variable compensation. I'd like to think that work that is above and beyond the mainstream can get rewarded.
I hear you. I just hope that my children don't watch this episode because
My clients are all going to tell me the exact same thing. Thank you. It was very insightful. You cost me a lot of money, so thank you very much.
be- no, because the boys cut the grass, and shovel the snow, and they don't get paid for that. They do have an allowance, but they don't get paid for those projects.
Aha. So when I see your
So,
boys, they're going to come
uh-huh.
and have me advocate on their behalf. I think.
But okay, we're going to go back to my voice because it ties to the next question that I have. How can parents talk about bigger financial realities like debt and investing or philanthropy without actually overwhelming them?
Yeah. Um, eh,
Compound
eh,
interest.
So I think the first part, and it ties into what we did in part one, but having these conversations around money and making it sure that people don't think that money is taboo, money is a dirty subject.
Mm.
It shouldn't, right? Like money is important. Money helps the family achieve their objectives. Money helps society be better with doing philanthropy. So the first thing is making them sure that when you're talking about money with your spouse, you're not hushing. It does. Yes, you're not going to expose your kids to every single thing, and you want to to shelter them. And if things are bad, God forbid, you'd like to give them a. But everything else equal, if you're talking about a trip, the next family trip, and it's the dinner table, it's okay. You don't need to have that conversation only with your spouse. My kids can listen that hey, it's a sacrifice. By doing this big trip, it comes at the expense of something else, and that is super super healthy for them to understand. First of all, money is earned, not given, is the first thing that they have to know. Or like up until they're 7 or 8, these kids probably think that you just go out, get some money, bring it back, and when there's no more, you just go out and get some more. It seems logical, right?
Or
So
pay with the card. The card is paying. I
yeah, that's
remember
right.
hearing that.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I remember my kids asking those questions. So if I pay with the card, how do you pay the card?
Yeah.
How often do you need to pay and stuff like that? But at this point, what I love, and I will give all the credit to my husband, is that our kids know how to invest.
Yeah. That's
And
that's that's beautiful.
yeah, and the youngest, being less than 18, the simple wealth
Well,
account,
simple.
simple account is under my husband, but then he's gonna transfer it to him. And it's great because they have these conversations with my husband. Did you see that? Should I buy this? Should I buy that? Dividends and stuff like that. Which I have to say, I never had that example, right? And you said something so crucial. Money is earned, and they need to know that how to earn money. But I think maybe you said that in the previous episode. They also need to learn that money has to flow, and not only to give, yes, give charity, but also that with money you can make more money. I didn't learn that growing up. I learned that I can make money if I work. That
Yeah.
was never, I never had a doubt that I know how to make money because I knew I know how to work. And I worked very early in life. But I didn't have the mindset that with money I can make more money. Or the whole knowledge of investing was like so foreign to me. So I'm so grateful that my husband has taught that to our three kids and that they
Beautiful
have these
values.
conversations with him.
Very,
Yeah,
very
I think
worthwhile.
that's important because it's beyond, first of all, knowing that if they put just $50 a month and they start early, that and they don't
The
touch it,
benefits
what's
of
going to be.
compounding are massive. We
So they
all
learn
have
that.
seen. Yeah.
I wish I knew that, right? So that's number one. But secondly, like you said, viewing money as an energy that we can grow. We're not
Yeah.
at the mercy of it. We can also work with it and make it grow and make it work for us. I think that's priceless because it is also a mindset, and there's much of what we have is due to the mindset that we have. Much of the
Sure.
numbers we have within the bank account is due to the mindset. So
Yeah,
fostering that right mindset.
you spend most of your life working for your money, and then you get the tipping point where it's your money that's working for you, just because of being exposed and having a certain capital base, and all of a sudden you see that the ratio of how much money you are earning actively by working versus passively shifts over time, and that's the cycle of life. And people at a enough age need to understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's the way it's supposed to be because if a young person all of the sudden finds himself with a tremendous amount of wealth, that's probably going to create chaos in their lives because they don't have the maturity and the emotional mental container to manage that. So
For sure.
working for your money until you reach that tipping point that you mentioned is also building that that vessel to be able to consciously and in a healthy way manage that money to really learn the value of it. So what's the biggest mistake you see parents make when it comes to money and their kids?
Yeah, certainly, I always say that that secrecy is the enemy of productivity, and so not talking about it at all will be by far the biggest issue. But in a more concrete way, I would say the hardest part for a family is knowing how much to give to their kids while they're alive versus later on. You always have this balance of, am I enabling a certain type of behavior by making them so comfortable today? But at the same time, I worked hard my whole life. Why wouldn't I see the benefits myself while I'm still here? And my kids have a big mortgage. Shouldn't I help them? So it's this tug of war between not wanting to have our kids grow up to be entitled and not have that desire to really be a go-getter, versus at the same time the competing comment, which is, hey, you have all of this wealth, your kids are struggling, why not help a bit more? And where is the fine line? And we love our kids equally, but they're not the same, and each kid is going to have a different relationship with money. And some of them, they could be 20 years old and you can trust them with your whole net worth. They'll do a fantastic job with it. Others at 50 or 55 are still not mature enough to be able to spend that kind of wealth. So it's about being honest with yourself and knowing exactly how your kids are going to behave with money. And the sooner you have conversations with them on money, the sooner you can make that determination on how they will be with money.
Absolutely. So how would you know if you are enabling or not?
Yeah,
Do you
there is
have a
no,
way of knowing?
yeah, there is no, and every family has their own set of values, and it has to speak to your values. And some people are going to say, hey, I've given them the best education I could. I had open communication. I did my best. We spoke about these things. I put our best foot forward when it comes to having a fully functioning, mature young adult, and the chips will lie where they lie. And others are convinced that until a certain age, you should not come into large sums of money. And I will not answer. There is no cookie cutter answer. It depends by family, by value system, culturally also. Uh, Different cultures have an approach when it comes to money that is completely different.
So let's talk about that. How do culture and family backgrounds influence the way kids grow up thinking about money?
Oh, they do. They do. First of all, everything influences how people treat money, where they grew up, the culture, the ability to communicate of their parents. all of these variables are going to really, really color how your relationship with money. But certainly, you come from places in the world where any kid who's getting married, it's almost an obligation that the parents are paying for it, and it's like you don't even think about it, regardless of the means of the kids, right? The parent, it's super important. Others are like, oh, I'll help my kids to get married if they need help, or I would much rather. Other families will say, me, as soon as I can buy, help them buy a piece of real estate. That's my value system. They need to have a home, no matter what happens, no matter the cost of living. They have this. So it's really what you favor in the totem pole of responsibilities and help that you want to give the next generation. So really, it is very, very cultural, and I can see it because we deal with people from all walks of life, and some clients would be shocked, and vice versa, by what they're spending on their kids, right? And on what, more importantly, others will say, me, even if school is $200,000 a year, and I have four kids, I am paying for their education. Others would say, well, hey, that's not really my value system. They can get a good education for a third of that. And I would rather they have a home, or I would rather they start a business. I, there is no right or wrong answer.
Yeah, these are actually questions that we have pondered with my husband a lot, looking at the amount of money we spend over the years, putting our three kids in private school. Was that the right thing to do? Wasn't. So we've had those conversations, and I think what you said, as long as you're operating based on your values, in alignment with your values, then that's all it takes. It's not about being right or wrong. It's operating in alignment to my values, being able to use money in a way that mirrors my values. I think it's a privilege.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When we are asking the question, how do I know if I'm enabling my child? I think when I'm, and of course, there's no right or wrong. Discernment is key, but perhaps we can look at the signs of what the money is doing. Is this money empowering my child to be more responsible, to work harder? Let's say I'm paying for their school so they don't need to work and pay and study. Are they studying harder, or are they just taking the time to go party?
Yep.
So looking at the effect of what we're doing, is it empowering them, or is it actually disempowering them?
Yep. And looking at it
And that
honestly.
depends on the child too. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and you have to be honest with yourself. It's so easy to lie to yourself because everybody wants to believe that they are not doing a disservice to their own kids. But you have to be honest with you. If you, in your example of paying for education, if grades are still subpar and the work ethic, more importantly, is completely subpar, means that they could have gotten this extra job and helped pay a portion. And kids who take a part-time job to pay for part of their education, it's a drop in the bucket, but it's really the values that you're instilling, that hey, this is a partnership and I'm happy to help you, but you can also do your part. They're not going to pay the full tuition with working 10 hours a week, but it'll show them that it takes hard work to be able to accomplish something. So it's
There's
a
a sorry, I stop you. Please go ahead.
no, no, you didn't. Please.
But you said it takes, this is a partnership. When they are part of the process, they value the results. And there's a whole study around marketing and the concept of IKEA, right? That when you build the furniture yourself, when you are part of the process, you actually benefit more. I saw this study about the Betty Crocker products, the cake,
Yep,
the
the
pre-made
cake.
cake. That the first product they launched, you didn't need anything. You didn't need to add eggs, just water, and that's it. And it was a failure because women felt that they were not invested. If I'm not even adding the eggs and I'm not, what am I doing? This is not a cake I made. And then
Yep,
they made one change. They they remove the eggs, the egg powder from the package, and they say, okay, now you need to add the eggs and you need to add the milk. And now the sales were skyrocketing because women felt, okay, if I'm cracking the eggs and adding the eggs, now I'm invested. I'm a part. I am actually creating this cake myself. So you're right. When we are part of the creation, when we are emotionally invested, we value that more.
You're absolutely right. And we forget as parents sometimes that our kids are going to inherit our wealth. And the sooner they are brought up to speed in terms of the magnitude, the impact that they can have with that wealth, what they can do, how it could be a catalyst for good, both in your own household and with society, the sooner you maximize the likelihood that they end up doing that. And to me, it seems almost self-serving to want to have these conversations sooner because it concerns the wealth that you've worked hard to amass. So why would you be so foolish as to say, "Hey, no, I'm not willing to discuss it with them. They'll get what they'll get. They'll see, and let them." You're, not putting the chances on your side of having people who are very, very comfortable in terms of spending wisely that wealth.
So if parents want to leave not just wealth to their children, but financial wisdom, where should they begin?
Yeah, start with values. Teach them why you save money. Teach them why there's a portion that you spend and a portion that you invest and a portion that you donate. These are very, very important, and try to relay to them in a way that they're going to understand what this family stands for in terms of values, what they like to do, translate it into their ability while maximizing the wealth, how much of it they can do, and how much their kids and their grandkids would be able to do that. And I find conversations with kids of a young age when I'm facilitating them, they're actually not that difficult conversations to have. From my experience, and part one, the conversations among spouses when it comes to money are sometimes way, way more charged. Not to say that they're not sometimes with the next generation, but you're really educating the next generation. Sometimes with spouses, there's a bit of it's condescending to a certain extent because spouses are exactly on the same level, but they don't have the same financial proficiency. With the kids, it's a given. It's a given that they don't yet have the same maturity and sophistication. You have blank canvas to be able to educate them, to teach them. They're curious, they ask questions. I find it to be actually a super, super incredible way for a family to strengthen their bond together.
Absolutely. And they have less money stories and limiting beliefs
Yeah,
about it. So, like you said, why Canvas, where you can create an empowering mindset around money? Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. So important. Otherwise, like you said, they're going to default to whatever is available to them, and you don't want that, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very important. Any Look, Steve, we're wrapping up two episodes. We talk about how money impacts relationships, and now we're talking about the relationship with our children and money. It's like money is a partner everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts, words of wisdom you want to leave the listeners with?
No, I just tell my clients who when we're having this conversation because they all ask, how soon is it, and I say conversation today with your 6 year old on a $5 purchase, all else being equal, will be the same as when this young adult is 36 and he's contemplating a $100,000 purchase. Start early. There are very, aside from time, there is no downside to having these conversations early. You are molding more productive adults if they understand that money, A, how it's earned, that it comes with hard work, and also that you don't get a dollar in to have a dollar out of spending on discretionary stuff. There is a portion that needs to be invested for tomorrow. There is a portion that needs to be probably given to society for the better, the collective betterment. And it's a hard concept for a child. And children are a
Yes,
bit
because
more
children are
selfish.
self-centered. That's
So
right.
they're self-centered, and it's normal, right? Like we make it so
That's
that they
right.
are self-centered because they know that they are our whole world. But we're doing them a disservice if they think that everything that we amass is only for ourselves. Even taxes is something that we didn't cover on, but they have to understand that when they are going to go and earn money, a portion of their money is not going to be in their paycheck. My eldest daughter, 14, works for the first time. Okay. And a paycheck is not, although at what she made, they didn't take much, but she has to understand that whatever she thought the math was when you multiply the hourly rate by the hours, not exactly what she ends up in the bank account. And that's a fantastic, fantastic opportunity to teach, to educate, to discuss. We should jump on these opportunities.
Yeah, it's a privilege. First
It
of all,
is.
it's part of our mission as parents, but it's also a privilege to be able to have those conversations. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a privilege to be here with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve, for reminding us that money isn't just about dollars and cents, for bringing all your wisdom and
Thank
reminding
you.
us that it's about values, decisions, and the kind of legacy we want to leave. Teaching our children about money isn't really creating millionaires. It's not about that. It's
Nope.
about raising confident, responsible adults who can navigate life without fear or confusion around finances.
So
So,
true. So true because financial insecurity is one of the biggest stressors both for young adults, for more mature adults, certainly for couples. The inability to understand money is very, very unsettling, and it can create havoc.
you know, one of the things that I love you said is teaching children that a portion of what they earn or receive is meant for the collective goodness. And I once heard Dave Ramsey, which I'm sure you know who he is,
Yeah.
talk about his friendship with Daniel Lapin, who wrote a book about finances. And what happens is that if we don't give our children these mindsets and understanding about money, they're going to grow up, they're going to go to work, some of them are going to start businesses. And then they feel very awkward when it comes to charging, especially if they're self employed, or asking for the sale, or asking for the pay, or asking for a promotion. And I heard Dave Ramsey share that in Daniel Lapin's book, there's an analogy, a beautiful analogy. He says, how do you feel when your children among themselves help each other and cooperate, right? Your heart is rejoice, right? If you think about your girls, your four girls, when they work together, when they cooperate,
Yeah.
when they're kind to each other, when they serve each other,
You
you
can
are
die.
in
You
cloud
can you
nine,
you can
right?
die happy and fulfilled. That's it.
That's right. You go, okay, I did my part.
That's it.
So it says, well, when God sees his children getting along, helping each other, serving each other, he also rejoices. But who are his children? Us and other people. But how do we do that? Through philanthropy, through contributing a portion to charity, and through business, right? When you have a business, you actually are serving someone else.
Yeah.
So asking for the pay is a way of serving someone and not having this awkward feeling about, oh, am I charging too much? Should I not charge? You know, then if we don't have this conversation as children, then we go into the world and we get stuck.
Yeah.
Either whether again we're asking the promotion because we deserve it or asking for the sale. So it starts early on, all the stories we have about money, these conversations, sharing the story that I just shared, with the children, how business is the way that we help other people, and we're all children of God. I think it's empowering. It's empowering for the next generation to view money, business, work as a service.
Absolutely. And with no shame.
When that's right, this is a word we didn't use so much, but there's
Yeah.
so much shame and guilt around
And I
money.
don't know if it's rooted in Judeo-Christianity and our relationship with money historically, but people are ashamed to talk about money. If you have too much of it, you're ashamed because you feel you got it at the expense of someone else in some twisted, weird way. And if you don't have as much, then you are also ashamed because, hey, some people ascribe your merit based on how much money you have in the bank account. So all of this is a toxic mix of you not being able to talk about money in a rational, productive way. And that's a problem. I think this generation views this a little differently, and there's more of an openness to talk about money and don't keep things as close to the vest. But certainly shame and stigma, both when you have too much and when you have too little, are a very, very real source of why communication has been hard when it comes to money. And we should have alluded that to start with because it's one of the main stressors for sure.
You're absolutely right. Let's restart.
Next time, season
Next time.
season two.
There you go. Wow. Thank you, Steve. Thank you
Thank you very
so
much.
much. We're just going to invite and say for our listeners, take one insight from this conversation and episode one, try it with your own family this week, whether it's talking about savings goals, involving your kids in a given decision, or simply letting them see how you make a purchase with intention.
Yes.
Okay. It's all valuable. Just start, doesn't matter where. And if you found today's episode valuable, please subscribe, share it with a friend, and let's keep growing the conversation on how we can engineer not just wealth, but wisdom for generations to come. Steve, it's been a pleasure having you. Thank you so, so
Thank you for
much.
having me. Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure.
This was
Bye
awesome.
bye.
Ciao.